Hey guys, this is Ress and Nique, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we're doing another Questions Nobody Asked Us. And this is an episode where we browse the net on different advice forums and we look for questions people have asked, pretty much anyone, not exactly us, and we answer them anyway. So, Nique, you have the first question.
Okay. So this one doesn't really have a title, but I will start. So it says, never quite sure what to do as a guy. I often get very anxious about my size. And if she misses her larger ex partner, i.e., just putting up with mediocre sex with me. They say you should be confident in bed, but I don't know how you are supposed to square that being open, honest, and vulnerable. So,
Me
I
and
mean,
you
I
have
know
very
how.
different opinions on this. Right now.
Yes, I was like, I know how me and you feel, but I will say that it would be okay for some women. It would be okay for some women.
Yeah.
Not every woman, but hey, us women are not every man's cup of tea either. Some women are not as sexual or as experienced as other, are more wild in bed. Guys
Mhm.
like certain things. So it's not just like a man thing, but I understand the man thing because it makes it makes you feel some type of way. But I think it's like man and woman for everybody. You're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but like someone like me, if I really love you and care about you, I can work through it, I think.
You're so sweet.
Can work through it. We can figure it out. We can
Yeah.
we can figure that all out. Like for me,
Mhm.
because I'm more, I guess it's because of the Pisces in me. I'm just so emotional and fairy tale-ish. And when you think of fairy tale, you ain't thinking you want to get your back blown out, you might, but you
Yeah.
don't be thinking like that. Like you're really
Y'all want to get your hearts blown out first.
yes, yes. And if you ain't doing that, and if you're not doing that, you're not even gonna, you can stimulate me in other ways. So that's for me. That's what I'm saying. But it's not a every woman thing.
Yeah.
But I will say that is nicer.
Yo, if we're doing good cop, bad cop, you got to be a better good cop.
But I'm open. I'm open. And a lot of women are not even open to see. So I'm just saying, whatever, who's ever out there for you is out there for you, regardless. Regardless.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm not, yeah, regardless. We ain't talking about me. Regardless. What if you, what that mean? Like, your person is going to be there. And that's not going to matter to them if they're really meant to be. But if it's just like, I don't want to be the macho guy and just do it with everybody, and I want them to feel this, I want them to love this. We don't, I'm not really sure about that. But some women are definitely open.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, he's asking specifically about his partner. And my thing is, if you guys are in a relationship, obviously she's okay with it. Like, everybody, unless you're dating a virgin, all of us have history with other people. And as much as we want to always believe I'm always their best for every person we've been with, probably not. Probably not. You might be top 10, depending on what type of people you did. So, but it's more it's more to relationships than that. And so I think first I would say, if you and your partner, unless your partner has brought it up or said things to make you think that she's not okay with it, I would not trouble myself with worrying about that. Because also, there's definitely women who are like, "No, I'm a big believer in sexual compatibility. I think it's very, very important. It's not something I personally believe in bypassing. And it's not a matter of because there's eventually going to be a time where sex is not that big of a deal. Whether that be you just had a baby, you waiting your 6 weeks because you can't, whether it be because older age and you're just not as interested, or maybe you don't have the ability, but there is going to be a point where it doesn't matter. And so I do think, especially the older you are and the older you get, the more it's more like, you know what, it's not that high on my list anymore. It might have been like at 21, it might have been like, nah. But I think the older you get, the more you realize, like, he can really get put me in. And he's really sweet and he's really loving. And there's other things we can do to add to this. And so I do want to say, like Nique was saying, it does not even mean necessarily that you're mediocre. There's other things you can add into sex that makes it great. There's some women who are head women. They could care less about the penis. They're like, they're doing that for you. And they're all about head. Can you improve your head skills? There's all types of way that you can add to it. And so again, if you're with your partner and again, they're not complaining and they seem pleased, or if you're not sure, ask them. And if they're telling you, like, no, I'm good, I'm happy, you have to kind of trust and believe that, or else you're just inviting unwanted insecurities that is going to break apart potentially a really, really great relationship when it doesn't have to be broken apart. So I do want to give that advice directly for him because, yes, there's definitely some of us who are like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you don't even got to worry about this because we're not getting in a relationship with you. So like that's the way I look at it. You got her in a whole relationship. So I feel like she's one of those women that believe in trying. And I
See,
love
I
that
don't
for
know.
y'all. I love that they're out there.
Yeah. I didn't know was he actually in a relationship or if he was just saying in general.
No, he said my partner.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
girl, you read
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
He
but
said
I
my
didn't think
partner's
about it. I
ex
thought
is big, and I'm wondering
no,
if
she was
she
like
feels
her, like if like all I thought he was saying like if all the girls are saying like they're all thinking about their
no,
big
if she misses her larger ex.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it don't even matter then if you with
No.
her. But it does kind of matter because some people will be faking it.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. Like, yeah, yeah.
But
And it's definitely a thing. There's
yeah.
definitely a thing of like, he's so sweet. I'm a over exaggerate a little bit because he's such a nice person. That's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing.
It
But
is. It
also,
is.
I will say on the flip side, there are some people who are freakishly too big, and that's not a fun experience either. Like,
No.
as much as I think there is this idea, like everybody wants really big, really thick, really whatever, whatever. Uh, there is definitely a thing of like, there's some people out there where it's like, you got to have 2 week intervals in between the time y'all do it because you got to go do a whole sitz bath because it's too much. It's just too much. I think it helps those men. This is gonna sound so wrong, but those men are usually hoes. They usually got 4 women because they know the women need 2 weeks at the same time, and they're cycling, and they for the community. Ain't nobody trying to wife him. It's
They just want
okay.
to share.
Look, that's he's for breakups. Okay.
And
I probably need to cut that out. He's not. He deserves love too, I guess. I don't know. I'm
that's
saying
just
there's two
different.
sides to all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go to the next one. All right. So this one starts. So I'm 18 years old, and recently my best friend, or my only friend, moved away. I stayed at our hometown with my parents, even though I wanted to leave, but we couldn't afford that. I was initially jealous because of that, but I got over it quickly. Anyways, my main concern right now is that I feel like I am missing out on life. I go to university, but I haven't really met anyone I like. I have people to talk to there most of the time, but no friends. On the other hand, my friend is friends with half of her university and living her best life while I'm here doing nothing. I'm just afraid because she is moving on with her life and I'm stuck in the same place. Plus, all the people I talked to in high school suddenly forgot I exist, so I have literally none to go out with. I'm very happy that my friend is living the life she wanted, but it still hurts to know that I probably never will. I guess I am not really jealous, but just sad. And another thing that I'm really concerned about is that I have never experienced anything romantic. Nothing at all. None has ever liked me or anything. I haven't even had my first kiss yet, which is something I am very insecure about. On the other hand, my friend has always been an absolute magnet for guys. Everywhere she goes, she gets hit on. Now that she moved, she met this guy and she was talking about all the things he says to her. I couldn't even be happy for her because all I was thinking about is that I will never experience something like that. I know that I sound like a shit person right now, but it's not like I will ever try to bring her down. I absolutely love her. It just feels like I am drowning in my own misery too much to be happy for someone else. So, a question, preferably for older girls or women: do you think there is a fixed normal age for you to experience things like your first kiss? Also, do you think that there is something wrong with me because I have received zero romantic attention? I am very shy, but super approachable. Also, I am good looking, or at least that's what people say. So why the fuck is this happening to me? Thanks for reading if you reach here. So there's a couple things. There's a couple questions going on in here. Starting with the first one of like, is there something wrong with me? You're 18 years old. You're still a baby. And I know for you, it's like, but it's been 18 years. But like, I promise you 10 years from now, and I know this sounds like such an old lady response. And you probably, it's like, girl, that don't help me. But like, I promise you 10 years from now, you're going to be looking back and being like, why was I worried? Like, that was not a thing. And there is no start time. I think a lot of us have a false idea of what other people's relationships are like and what it means to be active. I know for me, especially when I was in my early 20s, I felt like, dang, everybody's getting a relationship. Like, everybody is just falling in love and getting a relationship. And I don't even be liking people for real. And so, like, it made me feel like something was wrong with me. It made me feel like pressure to try to make things work with people like I should not have been. I I wasn't really, we weren't really connecting with. And the older I get, the more I realize that it's actually more common for a lot of us to not have 15 relationships. And I think because of two things. One, movies and TV shows make it seem like everybody like has like five exes and stuff. The truth of the matter is most people have like five situationships and maybe one or two exes um in their mid 20s, late 20s, 30s. And then the other thing is I think it's because the people who are like the I'm gonna call them the J Lo's and the Ariana Grandes. They're so loud with their love that it feels like that's the norm to always be in a relationship that have a person every time you get rid of a person, but it's not. Not only am I saying this from like personal life experience, and not only am I saying that from the experience of like people I know close to me, my girlfriends, my guy friends, my family members, but even as a therapist, this is something like I get brought up in therapy a lot where people are just like, something is wrong with me. I'm this age, I'm 30, and I've only had two boyfriends, real actual boyfriends. And, something must be wrong with me because everybody else, they finding their love, they get married. And what's wrong with me? I'm only a situationship. Why won't people connect? And it's unfortunate, it's a lot more common than you think. I hear it all the time. And sometimes I just want to be like, I'm gonna put y'all all in the group so y'all can know it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is what a lot of us are experiencing. And on top of that, I just want to throw in like, baby girl, your generation Z, I think, or yeah, I think they're still generation Z, 18, Z or alpha. She's somewhere. You young. But y'all generation is very socially awkward. And I think it's because you guys grew up in an era where you guys did not have to really practice your social skills. A major part of y'all life, y'all was in COVID at home with y'all parents. And I'm saying this to say, looking at shows like Sex in the City, which she probably don't even know what Sex in the City is. She is 18 years old. Okay. But looking at some of these shows and movies with people who are like my age, I'm 34, won't apply to your generation because we grew up in a different time. And so like this idea of like, why don't boys really come up to me? Y'all generation really, the boys are scared to come up to y'all. Like, y'all really not having that experience. I've even worked in programs where I work with teens and children. Y'all not really having that experience. Y'all are stalking each other on Finsta accounts and this, creating blogs about your secret crush. That's what y'all doing. Yeah, it's not as common as you think that a guy is just going to come up to you and bully, just like, yo, you beautiful. Can I get your number type of thing? You just got to give it time. There's nothing wrong with not having been kissed at 18. I remember like, when I was in high school and like, it felt like everybody had lost their virginity. And my parents were pastors, so I was still kind of like, gotta wait because Jesus will hate me type of thing. And I remember feeling that, like, oh my gosh, it feels like everybody's having sex. And I felt so like, am I a lame? Because I'm not having sex. And later realizing how many people lied about it. Like later realizing actually how many people really weren't. As I got into my 20s, I was like, oh, no, that's not what was really happening. Oh, that was not. Also, it was a good thing to wait a little bit longer. So I say all that to say, old lady answer. Give it time. There's nothing wrong with you. And some of this is just your generation. Neat.
Yeah, I think, like you said, give it time. Because if you think about it, a lot of us have situationships by, I guess, that age, by this age or whatever. Um, but there's not a lot of relationships. And even going back to saying like their generation doesn't talk to anybody, but now that's like everybody's norm. Like when back in our day, we can go out and somebody would talk to you. Now they just stare. I don't know if it's because it's mixed in with their generation, with our generation, so everybody think you just gotta stare.
Our generation, you know what our generation finds our Instagram or
Yes.
Snapchat and then send us a DM. That's what these 30-year-old, 40-year-old men are doing. They are
And back
sending
in
out
the
functions on a regular basis, not saying
yes.
anything, finding your social media somehow, and then being bold as hell.
Or even don't even ask what's your Instagram or the not what's your number. It's just straight what's your Instagram. Like
Which I hate. I
it
hate
like
that
the
shit.
what? I mean, I understand when it gets in like it just all weird.
Yeah.
Everything's weird. So it's just like and like I said last time, when your time comes, it's gonna come. And honestly and truly, I think it's better to be like, I'm just gonna wait. If you I kind of feel like she's too focused on her friend comparison too. I think she's too focused on comparison, and that's taken away from her identity. It's taken away from her getting to know herself. It's taken away from her having confidence in, and that's another thing men kind of do look for confident woman. Um, if they're really trying to build something, because I know because when I was me, I was getting them.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, after my motherhood, after life happened to me, I don't think I breed as much confidence as I used to. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I do. So it's just like her just on all that comparison that's took away from her just learning herself and getting out there. Because it's not just about being pretty. But I just think it's gonna come in time and she just has to wait it out and feel it when it's good for her. Because being in one good solid relationship or two or three good solid relationships is way better than being in a lot of situationships and getting your feelings hurt all the freaking time. And then you become addicted to wanting to be in a relationship or addicted to like that those little feelings of those little feelings, and it's just not worth it. So speaking
Yeah.
from an old lady, I ain't an old lady, but auntie, whatever you want to call me, I'm 37, so it's just not worth it in the end. You look back and like, I could have did some different things. And
Word.
honestly and truly, I hung around all same like minded Christian girls, so none of us was having sex,
Mhm.
except for maybe one out of all 12 of those girls
Mhm.
or how many girls it was. I don't even remember, but like maybe one or two,
Mhm.
maybe one or two. So and I look back on those times as more refreshing than now because I was just like, I ain't got to think about do he like me and I wasn't thinking about none of that because it was just like he ain't touch me or ain't doing. I was good. I was just
Mhm.
trying to figure out what life was. I really didn't care when the next time I'm gonna get laid.
Yeah.
Or the next time, or I didn't really care about any of that. I was just like living life. So I just like she just needs to take the time and take it in now. Because yeah, because when you start getting into all of that, it's all that the time will come. The time will come. But I don't think you should force it. I don't think you should be comparing everybody. I think that's what their generation does too, is a lot of comparing because of social media. Whereas we didn't have all that social media stuff when we were 19. Well, 19 we did, I guess. It was starting to come up for me. It was starting to come up like my junior, senior year. But I just didn't have all those things to compare it to. So I think it will come in time. It's just giving it the time and just really, really. And I hate when people say this: just enjoy your moment, just enjoy your moment. But for real, that's what you probably need to do, and stop comparing yourself to your best friend. I think she's too dwelled on that. Honestly, that was the first thing I was really like, well, why are we keep comparing us to that girl?
Yeah.
And she's not letting herself live for real.
And one of the things I will say that might be helpful, because I know everything we said now does not feel helpful. Because I remember being that age and being like, please shut up. Okay, I'll be happy in my 30s. Like being like, that doesn't help me now at 19. But so I will give you something that can be a little bit more helpful. Also, sometimes it's about where you are. Sometimes you just not pop in where you are and you need to be somewhere else. And I know right now you're like, I can't really afford to go to uni. It might be like, girl, maybe, especially if you already want to go, it might be this semester, really put in that work. Next semester, really put in that work to raise your GPA to see if you can get a scholarship to go somewhere else. I do think there is definitely a thing about sometimes having to leave your hometown and get your glow up. Definitely think that's a thing. I joke with Nique all the time and tell her Southern men love the hell out of her. Like whenever me and her traveling in the South, men love the hell out of Nique in the South. My area is the East Coast. New Yorkers, Philly, Boston, love the hell out of me. I have so much fun. East Coast area. Oh, we about to be in Toronto too. So maybe we'll see what's
Yeah,
happening in Toronto. We'll see what's happening. But
we'll
I know for
see.
sure. East Coast is my area. Down south is Nique's area. You sometimes it's just about where you are. So it
Mhm.
could also just be that kind of small hometown type of thing where sometimes people just look at you like that's just Lily. I know Lily. That's Lily who used to eat paint in second grade. And that's just how they see you. And you kind of got to go somewhere new where people are like, oh, I've never seen her before. Oh, I've never met someone like her before. Oh, I want to get to know her. So whether that is, if you do want to go, maybe try to get a scholarship or just traveling, go. If your friend's not that far, see if you can go over to her university for a weekend and hang out, meet some people on campus, things like that.
I agree.
All right, Nick, you got the next one?
Okay, so this one says, hold on. I need some advice from the woman. It says, I am a single 62-year-old male, full-time daddy with two girls who are 6 and 8. I am fit and people think I'm in my 40s, but I can never seem to find a date. It has been years since their mom left. She had just turned 30 and was too young for me, but I was never expecting children. Since this is an anonymous form, I'm thinking someone will give me their honest opinion. I am not asking for a date. I just want to know if you would probably pass on a guy if he had children. Having children in general, no, we're not. We wouldn't pass on it. Everybody has children. But I really feel like it's the age range with these
Yeah,
babies
yeah.
because grandpa.
I'm so glad you picked this one because I was trying to find it, but usually when you pick, like you circle which one you're picking, I don't read them. Because I'm like, oh, whatever. And I was like, I thought highlighted one about this pawpaw with these babies. Okay, I'm so glad you picked this.
Yes. Yes, because I'm just like, it's not just about, yeah, it's just children, because like even more women your age, it's like, oh, you got grown children, they're not going to be on my way. Because
Hmm.
at this age, 50, like 62, I'm trying to retire by 65. Most women
Yeah.
are trying to retire. They're not trying, they're trying to like have their grandkids here and there, not raise a whole new set of children.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I guess he could try it with younger women. I guess he gonna have to, and I don't know that he want that because you see it work out with 2 kids by itself.
Yeah.
So
Their mama was like, you know what? I'm still young.
yeah,
Let me live my
yes.
life.
That's what you're getting. She just turned 30. So 8 years ago, what is she like for? She's probably almost 40 now. And she
No,
still don't want you.
well, we don't know when she left. So she might that might have been this year. She might still be 30. All he said
Uh,
she left when she turned 30.
if she's been, oh, that
But that
makes it
means y'all
even
were having
worse.
these babies at least when she was like 26. Yeah, at
Hmm.
least when she was like 28.
Yeah. So it's just like you may look like you're 40, but you're actually not. And you can pass you can pass the 10 years and then I gotta take care of these babies. So it's just like you gotta think about a lot coming into that, unfortunately. You might find a nice young woman, another young woman. You might, but it's just like it's just a lot to take on, especially somebody your age. Whereas they're like, I'm still working, like after a while I want to retire and I just wanna kick my feet up and maybe see my grandkids every other weekend or when I want to, not like a full-time thing. Because I know I wouldn't want to be a full-time over. I have a 8-year-old right now. I don't think I would want to have that at 62.
No.
So this is me, and by myself either. Or helping somebody else take it on. So yeah. So what is your take on it?
I agree with you. There's no way in hell I would. And it's not about kids. I have a kid. I don't have an issue with dating somebody with kids. I've definitely dated people with kids. I've dated people with multiple kids. That's not the issue. It's how young you having those kids, how young those kids are compared to your age. Even if you look 40, if you're dating people your age, basically what you're telling them is that you got to start over. And like, even from my own perspective, I dated somebody that was 12 years older than me, and they were done having kids. Like, they were like, our youngest kids were both the same age. Our kid, my child and his youngest child were the same age, but like he also had kids that he was like, I got 6 more years. I got 6 more years, and then I get my life back. And one of the issues that we had was like, I still want to have another baby. And he was like, I can't, and it was a thing. It was a thing. And I got it. I was not mad at him. I completely understand for him to be like, I raised three, and then you asked me to start over from scratch, from baby. Like, we had the conversation of like, no, bringing yours in, that's fine. That's great. I can have another, 8-year-old, but you want to start over from scratch? And I'm only got 3 more years, or I only got 6 more years, and at least get one away. You want to add a new one? And he was only 12 years older than me. So I can't imagine like being a woman closer to your age and then having someone basically tell me I have to start over again after. More than likely, most of the women your age are done raising their kids. They're adults. They might have grandbabies. They might got one in high school, but usually they're about done. And what you're asking is for them to start over. And then for a younger woman, what you are asking them is to step into this role where not only am I trading off some of my youth to be with you, but also you're thrusting me into motherhood. For a lot of these young girls, being thrusted into motherhood with an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, that's a lot.
Mm.
And so I think it's just a matter of, yeah, it is going to be hard. I do think it's going to be hard. Like, I don't even want to sugarcoat it for you, my guy.
Yeah. But if they were, it's not like the younger women, say if they were like 45,
Mhm.
or I mean, so a lot of my friends are 40, not a lot of my friends. I have a few friends that's 40 and they're just having their first kid.
Mhm.
So like maybe 45,
Mhm.
they might be open to it, but then in the back of my head, it's just like eventually I'm gonna be helping take care of you too. That's the only thing
Yep.
that's in my head. Like I can help you with the kids. Like if I was with somebody that had an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, right now I can do it if we were the same age.
Yeah.
But then it's just like eventually I'm going to be happy to figure out where you going.
Mhm.
Because that's only 10 years. And the babies are only gonna be 18 and 12. And I still
Yeah.
gotta take care of the 12-year-old. So it's just
Yeah.
like and now I gotta figure out where you got to go in a nursing home, or do I gotta take care of and, like, that's the part that's like the harder part. Like, yeah, we can do this to an 8-year-old, but if we were the same age.
Yeah.
But I have to, especially if you're doing this on your own and you're a single dad and she left you. So it's like definitely that's like I'm gonna have to adopt these kids. So you're
Mhm.
just like I'm taking on a lot,
Yeah. I mean, that's what
unfortunately.
I meant when I was talking about trading off the youth, because like you're not too far away from 70s. And you're looking at 30-year-olds, like, yes, there's lots of 70-year-olds that are very active. My parents are almost 70, very active, don't look 70 either. However, we have had conversations. Me, my dad, me, and my mom have had conversations of like, just, hey, planning. Hey, don't put me in no nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you start realizing my cognition a little off, let me know. I want to get on that. I have a colleague, actually, we just talked about this today. I have a colleague who, she was in my office today. And we were talking about it, and she had told me, she's like, my parents don't know I do cognitive checks on them. And she's a therapist as well. She was like, I'll just sometimes ask them the same question over to make sure they give me the same answer. And they think I'm forgetful. I'm just trying to make sure they're not forgetting. She was like, it's a thing. They think I'm a very forgetful person. It's like, it's just me doing cognitive tests on them every now and then to make sure they're good. And
Mhm.
so, and that's the same thing. She's in her 30s, her parents are in their 70s. And that again, that's a lot to ask somebody. Then on top of that, to bring 2 more kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And some people it's just all about love and they just like, I'll
Yeah.
take it anyway, can get it. And
Yeah.
that's just them. Some people don't think about all this extra stuff. I couldn't do it. First of all, no.
Mhm.
Like I don't even I barely want to talk to a 50-year-old and I'm 37. So I know I couldn't do a 62.
Yeah.
Um, it would just be too much for me. Like, bruh, why did you do this? And you now I feel like well, never mind. I'm like creepy vibes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Same.
like,
Well, and then not only that, like you're missing very important information that I think would probably change our answers, which is why did that woman leave? And also, what is your financial situation? Because if your financial situation is I'm very well off and like we'll have nannies and you don't got to worry about their education or us dipping into our finances, that's going to change a lot of women's perspective. Because I think also some of that fear when it comes to like raising kids over, especially when she already had some kids, is like for a lot of people when their kids turn 18, it's like that financial responsibility is lessened. And that's not true.
mhm.
But it feels lessened. Like you at least you're not paying for daycare no more, you know? And now
Yeah.
it's like, ooh, I gotta go back to paying for daycare? I gotta go. I gotta,
That's
I gotta.
okay.
Yeah. So that changes
Oh,
things depending on
it
where
does.
your finances
It does.
are.
It does.
And then another thing is, why did that lady leave? Did she leave because you got her when her brain wasn't fully developed, when she was under the age of 25? And then she turned
Mm-hmm.
25, her frontal lobe fully developed, and she realized she missed her youth. And now she got 2 kids.
The different
And
brain.
yeah, why did that lady leave? Because depending
Mm-hmm.
on why that lady left also might alter how people respond.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, like, being 60, it does personally, it gives off controlling vibes. It personally gives off, I want somebody that can be controlling mode. And that's also going to limit your pool.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are with that. I ain't got nothing else to add.
Nope, me either.
All right. We'll go to the next one. All right. So the one I have starts with, hey, to whoever might see this, my first time writing something on here. So basically, I met this guy on a dating site. We moved off the app since things were going well. We had a few FaceTime calls, and the vibes were great, to be honest. We decided to go on a date, and we had a great time, even kissed, which I know possibly not the best idea, but I'm 20 with little dating experience. I'm learning. I did communication. After the communication was there, but a little weak. So I did a little check in to make sure everything was all right between us. He assured me everything was good on his side and he's still interested. But the texts were less frequent and the calls got shorter. So I momentarily decided to step back, not walk away because nothing necessarily happened. But he still interacts with my Insta, yet doesn't call or text. It's odd. I'm still interested, but not sure what's going on with him. I don't know if I should just leave it as it is and see if he reaches out or reach out to him before jumping to conclusions. Any advice would be appreciated. This is going to be real short and sweet for me. Um, y'all don't take into guys looking into your Instagram story. It's really not that serious. It's not. I know a lot of us get into it, but actions always over whatever it is they're doing. And I get it. I've had it happen too, where it's somebody that I'm like, you try to play in my face. Why are you on my, why are you the first person to look at my story? I get that feeling of like, nah, this feels like it's something to it, but believe their actions. If their actions is that they're not calling, if their action is they did pull away, if their action is they were super excited before and now they're not, believe that that's what it is and then act accordingly. That's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was like the one that would be like, oh, he's looking at my stories too often. And then it's like, but what does that really I guess that actions speak louder. And I don't know why they do that anyways. Cause I mean I have somebody looking at my stories like first like love situation that,
Mhm.
50 million years later, and they're still doing that and still liking stuff, and not even just hardening it, but it's just like, I guess it doesn't have any weight behind it, but it can leave you confused. But sometimes my phone just lays there, and I'll be going through people's stories I don't even know I went
Yeah.
through them. So it could be that too. So
Yep.
you just don't get caught up in just that.
Yeah.
Cause I can even get caught up in that, or have got caught up in that, or geeked about it. Like, oh, he's looking at my stories again. But there's been times they don't look at them at all, and I think that's purposeful
yeah.
to not
I
look
mean,
at them
yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I feel like this. But I have somebody from like 5 years ago who's on their Finsta looking at my stuff. And same thing, I kind of got wrapped up in that too. Like, why did you go and create a whole fake account that you had attached to your work cell phone, by the way? And then and you just come and you look at my stories. And then I had to tell myself, it means nothing because that man ain't that's all he's doing. If it was anything important, if it was anything real or serious, that man would have reached out. That man would have reached out with a
Mhm.
grand gesture and an apology.
Mhm.
So yeah, you gotta, even with stuff like that, because I definitely got caught up in that. Like, why is he doing that? Why is he also following my podcast? Why is he doing it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And is it trying to
And
keep
the action
tabs?
is
Like, what
nothing,
is
but
it?
yeah, sometimes people just want to keep tabs on you. And that's it. They want to know what you're doing.
And then she was beating herself down for having a kiss on the first day. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, no, I too. I was like, am I a whore?
Grabbing my pearls because I'm like, I know, is that the best like, girl, if you want to kiss, you want to kiss. Like, you ain't busting it
Check
wide
this
open
man.
or nothing. Like, oh, you're so nice. What is wrong with that? What generation? Maybe we some hot bots in the old generation. I don't know.
Look, no, ain't nothing wrong with you kissing that book man on your first date.
Right. But no, actions speak all the time. And I mean, I think as a woman always had to learn it the hard way. Yeah, learn it the hard way. Like, he looked at my stories, like getting geeked out with like the little ounce of breadcrumbs that they will give you. And it's just like, no, sis, that don't
Yeah.
really mean nothing. We as women don't know why they're doing it, but that don't really mean nothing. So I agree.
You got the next one?
Short and to the point, yes. Okay. Okay. Awkwardness with a coworker. So I've been at my job for 2 years and have been able to make some sort of friendly conversation with everyone except for one person. And it's awkward. It's so awkward. We both went to high school together, and he was a huge douche to me and tried to make fun of me, if I remember correctly. Now he's very respectful to me, but we don't have anything to say to each other when it's just us in the room. A few years ago, when I didn't work with him, I saw him at a bar and he tried to talk to me. And so I was able to talk to him a little that night, normally, but then I gave him the cold shoulder just because I remember him from high school. He was sort of a hoe too. I even text once in a while everyone's outside of work besides him. What's the deal? And how do I talk to him and get him to talk to me like everyone else? Me personally, I don't really care if he's not talking to me. I don't understand why she's like so fixated on it. It's like
Yeah.
if nobody else is at work is noticing, like, oh, we don't talk to her. What is the big, you don't have to talk to me. Say he was a douche, whatever y'all say,
Mhm.
in high school and he was mean to you or he was a hoe. But just because he was a hoe, I don't see why you can't just say hi. I don't see why it was a casual conversation why you gave him the cold shoulder. But it's just like, unless you're going to step up and have a conversation with him, like, how can we not make this awkward anymore? Or is this as awkward as to me as it is to you? There's nothing else you can do except for being very direct of what you noticed, what's going on. Am I tripping? Or do we just not need to talk to each other in passing? Or you have to step up and say something. But for me, on the other hand, it doesn't seem like a big deal that he's not talking to you. I don't talk to half of people at my job and I'm fine. So
Right.
that's just me. And it's coworkers that talk to everybody and I don't really talk. Like that's just me. And I'm fine. I'm confident. I'm cool. I'm collective. it just kind of feels like she's dwelling on it a lot. But if you think it's something that is bothering you, I think directly asking him or saying pull him to the side and just have that conversation away from your coworkers and figure it out. And if he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're tripping, we don't have to talk, or I'm good, that's the answer. That's it. We don't gotta tell you nothing else about it. Just be casual.
I agree with you. You do not. I think you're making an issue out of a non-issue. Um,
Yeah.
he probably do not think about you at all. Like he probably, oh yeah, that's that
Mhm.
girl from school. Mm. And y'all had that one awkward exchange where you were rude to him. He's like, oh, okay, she don't fuck with me, and went about his way. I don't think it's as big of a deal as you think it is.
But you know what? Overthinkers often play scenarios in their head. I'll say that because I am overthinker. I'm not as
I
bad as I
know.
used to. But I was like, dang, they always looking at me like, dang, they feel this way about me. And that plays over and over and over in your
Hmm.
head. But then I had to learn, like, if I'm not going to address it, it's really nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Either address it or don't. And trying to, yeah, but she has to address it if it's bothering her in that way. But I really don't feel like he cares. But as an overthinker, she's telling herself he does.
Yeah. Well, and I'm even thinking about because yes, you definitely are an overthinker. And I'm someone that like just very easily detaches. And I think about like there's been certain situations over the years where I was just like, I just stop fucking with them. And you're like, Brass, you gotta talk to them. You gotta let them know why. And I was like, why? It's not that big a deal. And you're like, no, it's a thing. People want to know. And I'm just like, hmm. And like for me, it was like I didn't think it was a big enough deal. It was like, oh, we talked once every 3 months. I don't it was hot, it was never that deep. Why do I have to have a conversation? Like, for some people, it's just not that deep, and
Hmm.
then they're not even aware that it's, like, hurting your feelings or that it's, like,
Exactly.
this big thing to you.
Hmm.
So, like Nick said, I don't really have anything to add. You do not have to be this person's friend. It does not have to matter. Everybody else seem to like you and get along with you. Focus on that.
On the good, yeah, on the good. But it takes a while to program your mind to think that way.
Mhm.
You can't just like say like, oh, the people who care care and the people who don't. It takes a little bit of programming. But I think the first step is to say something if that's bothering you. But if you're not gonna say something, you just gotta figure out how to drop it because it's not that big of a deal to him. And he probably gonna say, what are you talking about, bro? Like he probably
Yeah.
like,
So when you said that, I was just like, he is probably gonna be like, why did she bring up this bullshit to me? That's
yes,
how I
like
be. When people want to address,
the face
especially
like,
things I think are so small. Because I
yeah.
remember one time, matter of fact, something similar. I had somebody who was just like, do you have an issue with me? Because, you don't really talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And I had to remind them, like, we never really talked. And they were like,
Mhm.
well, because I've seen you talk and you go to these people, y'all laugh and blah, blah, blah. You never come over to me and do it. I was like, because we don't have anything in common. Like, and to me, it was just wild that they brought it up. I'm like, I, it's not beef. We just don't
It's
have anything in
not.
common.
And
Like,
that's
why do we
fine.
have to fake this? Yeah.
Mhm.
But you can't come up and talk to them for your own sake.
Mhm. To
Uh,
get it off of your mind.
yeah. Do some of that CBT, challenge the thought. So
Mhm.
every time we're having that thought of, oh, maybe he doesn't like me, and oh my gosh, challenge it. What's another perspective? Maybe he doesn't really care. Maybe he thinks it's awkward because of that one situation we got, and he's just trying to avoid another awkward situation.
Yeah, and that's just it.
Challenge it.
Yeah. Mhm.
If you got a thought that's like pacing in your mind and it's like making you really anxious and really, okay, ask yourself, what is another perspective? And think of
Mhm.
happier, better, nicer perspectives, not worse. We go on the opposite end.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
All right, guys, this one's a little bit long. Please bear with me. All right, it starts with I love my girlfriend and, of course, think she's the most beautiful person ever. However, I'm a guy with little to no sexual experience while she has more experience than me. I had no grudges or judgment against her for this, but my overthinking mind makes me imagine scenarios and any details about a past guy when they're brought up in conversations, and I have to fight them all. Therefore, I have asked her to keep mentioning other guys to a minimum so it doesn't trigger my intrusive, vivid thoughts. The other day, I was aroused and I asked my girlfriend for some explicit pictures, which we started sharing around a month ago. However, she was busy at the time and said she could send me some old pictures. My first intrusive thought made me think it is a photo that was meant for a guy in the past. But I thought there was no way she'd do that, and the photos had to be taken for herself. So I trusted her, brushed my thoughts off, and did what I did with the photos. Later on in the night, the topic of the photos came up, and she teased me about it. I asked her what prompted her to take those pictures. She had tried a new pose, and she said a past fling told her about the pose that they saw on the internet. As soon as the guy was mentioned in this context of nude photos, my trust was shattered. However, she said she never sent the photos to him, reassuring me, adding that her face was in the photos as well. She never sent her flings her face. I did not understand at that moment that she never intended to send the photos to the guy in the first place. I thought she had a second thought about sending them. I should have asked for clarity, but I'm so anxious that my trust felt betrayed. She noticed my mood was off, so I took some space. After a while, I told her I felt cucked because I did the deed to the photos thinking they were not meant for anyone, but now a guy is in the picture. It scarred me. I'm not gonna be nice with my response. I'm gonna finish. I'm not gonna be nice. All right. It scarred me. I wish I didn't talk in a assumptive tone, but then she explicitly told me they were photos that she never intended to send, and they were meant for her only at the time. She said, wish she never told me about her past. I feel so idiotic. I couldn't even say the right words at the time. I didn't mean to bash her character. I just misinterpreted the words she said. If I hadn't trusted her character, I would have never accepted the photos themselves. She took some personal space. I decided to gather my thoughts after a while because I felt like I needed to explain my thought process. I reassured her that I literally did not care about her past sexual experiences and that my vivid imagination problem was my own. But I never judged her. I explained to her that I never assumed she would betray me or anything, but only after a conversation with the mention of another guy in that context did I misread her words and assume the worst. I apologized, ton. She has yet to see any of my messages, which is fine. I'm just so anxious and jumpy. Have I ruined this beyond repair? I don't think I can do much other than give her space, but I need to know what I did wrong. How can I work on it? And of course, how can I save my relationship? Let's take a deep breath together first. Let's let's inhale, release. Oh, baby, so much, so much. Um, okay, if I play bad cop, will you play good cop?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, cool. She definitely took those pictures for another dude. Like, we're not out here trying new pose and then saving them on our phone for ourselves. Some of
No.
us got
No.
a whole collection that we just keep. So when things are in the mood and we are like, things aren't shaved, you can just go to the old photos and send them to whoever the new sender is. It's a thing. And it's not that serious. It's really
Yeah.
not that serious.
It's not that serious, but he's so emotional. And he
Yeah,
might not need to be with somebody. He
experience.
might need to be with an emotional person this emotional. Because even I'm emotional and that kind I'm supposed to be the good guy, but that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. It's just like, bruh, get over yourself.
Yeah. It
Like,
comes off really insecure.
yeah, but then insecurity starts to be manipulative
Mhm.
to me.
Well,
Like,
insecurity is unattractive.
very much so. Very much so. And I felt sad or sorry for people that has insecurities, but I can't take on your insecurities. I
Mhm,
can't. I can't take them on. And it's not her fault, bro, because she told you she's busy. You could have did your deed later then. Okay, babe, we'll just wait till later then.
mhm.
Because you putting all those negative thoughts into your head. And that wasn't even her intentions. Like, it wasn't her intention. And sis ain't like you said, sis took the pictures before. She took it for somebody else. But he set himself up for that. It's like he was asking to get a negative answer. Like, wait, did you send those pictures to somebody? Wait, these had to be for somebody else. Wait. Like he wanted a negative answer
Yeah,
to hurt his own feelings.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, my issue though is like it feels like before we get to the issue of the pictures, the first issue is your insecurity, and I think that's what needs to be worked on. Because if it's not this, is always going to be something else. And you
mhm.
started with that, with I am insecure about her past with other people, and so it's all anything. I mean, it can be. She do a new move that you never realized she knew how to do, and who else she been doing that move on?
Mhm.
It's we all, unless you're dating a virgin, we all have experience with other people,
Mhm.
and I can understand wanting things special for you. I can understand feeling like, dang, is anything brand new? Is anything for me? But I really think the insecurity is the biggest thing here because it feels like with the way you phrase this, that there's always going to be something. And it's always going to make you anxious. And it's always going to make you react in a way that comes off insecure and manipulative. And that's unhealthy for a relationship in
Mhm.
general. Also, I just want to say, him saying that he felt like he's being cuckolded, another person needs to be involved in the room for that to be a thing. That's not what's happening. Even if she did take the picture, she definitely took those pictures for somebody else. I really want to clarify that. The fact, her lying skills, I am impressed. The fact that you bought that, I'm just like, girl, what did she say? She must be very good.
But yeah.
What's that Sabrina Carpenter song? Um, you don't have to lie to girls. If she likes you, she'll lie to herself.
Mhm.
Sometimes men do that too. I
Yes.
don't know what's happening here. Um,
And then I just took it because he talked about it, and I'm like, "Oh, let me try this." No, you tried it for him, and but she shouldn't have said all that extra stuff. But it's like, bro, kept pushing it,
yeah.
and it's
I mean
just
that.
like, if you know, and also if I date somebody that's insecure, I just like we don't have to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that because
Yeah.
I already know how you're going to respond. It's just going to mess up stuff, and if that bothers you so much, let's just not talk at all. That's how I be getting like, I just cannot do the insecurity. And half the time going to insecurity, it may be something new that I'm trying to try anyways. On top of you having insecurity, on
Mhm.
top of this isn't my normal type of guy, it just blows the whole scene out. I'm just over it.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't really have as much patience, which is just a lot to take on sometimes.
No,
He's
it's
definitely gonna push her away.
yeah, I think it's one and two. So what can you do? I would handle that first. I would handle you said your
Yourself.
apologies, you giving her space, let her take it. While she's doing that, let's start working on our insecurities. Let's start working what the root cause of that is and seeing what
Mhm.
ways we can resolve that. But my concern is that it sounds like one of the main cause and concerns is possessiveness. And
Yeah.
again, which is why I keep emphasizing that's going to be this is just a drop in the bucket. Other things will come up.
Mhm.
So instead of really focusing on like, how should I have access or, focusing on this particular problem, the whole thing about the picture, that's a symptom. That's not the diagnosis. That's not
Yeah.
the bigger issue. That is the band-aid scrape that you got when you fell. The problem is you also broke your leg. Let's fix the broken leg,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that's where he needs to start
Yeah.
because he definitely will lose her. I mean, it's nothing he can do with a quick, fast fix, but he needs to start working on that.
Yeah. I completely
'Cause if he
agree.
lose her, I mean, at least you can have space for somebody else and you'll know how to work through it for the next person.
Yeah.
But she definitely can say, "I'm tired of this mess," and that's okay.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine if I sent somebody a picture, they're like, was this not for me? Nigga, do you want the picture or not?
Not.
Do you want the
Do you
picture or
like
not?
it or
Like,
not?
let me unsend it then because what is
Yes.
why are you asking a question? I asked you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
noticed those were the pants you were wearing when we FaceTime earlier. And I
Exactly.
let that slide because it's none of my big concern. I don't care.
Mhm. Yeah.
The results
It's
came
for
in
me in
and I
this
was happy with the
moment.
results.
Yes. It's for me in this moment, and this yeah.
If your partner's not a virgin, they have shared their body with another person.
Mhm.
And if you cannot handle that, then you need to date someone who has not shared their body with another person.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So, guys, that is all we have for today. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at She Wolf Alchemy. And be sure to like, share, follow. Maybe don't share this one. I don't know if I'm proud of this. We don't- I was the bad cop the whole episode. And Yeah, don't share this one. Okay, don't share this one. Y'all just listen to this one, keep this one on the low, and then share the others. Share the others, okay? When we're sharing our expertise in a very casual way. But be sure to like, review, and we'll have a new episode for you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.